Hi, I'm just coming on today because I just saw a YouTube video by a woman I've followed for a while. She's a Christian woman, has an online, business. Not even going to say who it is because it doesn't really matter. The reason I'm talking about it is it kind of reminded me. One thing I should talk about on this channel is the stress that having a child on the spectrum can add to your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with other kids in your family as well. Um, Looking back, now that my kids are all grown, there are many things I wish I had done so differently. Also, I expected too much of my older kids, especially as my youngest grew and became more violent at times. I expected my kids to be more understanding or more involved than I should have. And every marriage has you have differences in philosophy about lots of things. I mean, you're married to somebody, but you're not the same person. You don't have one brain. You have two brains and two personalities. And if you have a kid on the spectrum, or even if you don't, and if you find you're having a lot of disagreements or tension in your marriage because of parenting issues, you are so not alone. Um, I know there are lots and lots of, support groups you can go to. I've never really been the type to join things too much. And honestly, by the end of the day, I did not have energy for going out of the house and then being social. Um, there are groups on Facebook that you can join. I think probably every state has, a state one for parents with kids on the spectrum from, young children up to like 13 and up because, kind of a different world when they start getting older too. Um, but if you are having issues, try to be open with each other, try to be forgiving of each other. Of course, I always thought I was right about things. As I've gotten older, some things I will stand on that hill and never get off it. But some other things too, though, I see now the older I've gotten, and I see my husband was right. Um, he always said I did too much for our son, which is true because as he got older, then he expected me to do things for him. Like when he'd get done eating, he'd hand me his plate, and he's like, "Oh, he can put that in the kitchen." Um, and just little things like that, it makes a difference. You don't want them to be too dependent on you for stuff that they can do on their own. Cheryl Ryan Chan, who also has a Facebook account, she's a well-known person in the autism community. She has said, "Stop that." Like I believe she had like a teaching or seminar, called "Stop That." Because if you are doing every little thing for their child that they really can do on their own, you're impairing them from being able to operate in the world. Um, of course, some kids, if they're really on the severe end of the spectrum, like my son, he's always going to need to live with somebody. But, not everybody on the spectrum is like that. Like I said at the beginning of this channel, I speak from the viewpoint of someone who has a child on the more severe side of things. If you have a high functioning person, I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong terminology, but they will live on their own someday. Um, all the more reason, though, if they're capable of doing little things for themselves, let them do it. Even if they fail, just stand back, let them fail. If they ask you for help, help them, but try to teach them how to do it themselves. I can say any number of things too about that in relation to homeschooling, which was not a very good thing for us. We did try it for a long time, but it wound up not being the best thing for our family. So that's another whole parenting ball of wax that I can talk about some other time. But anyway, I hope this might encourage you just to say, like I said, if you are dealing with marriage issues, don't be ashamed of it. You're not failing at all. It's a thing, especially with the high stresses added, with violent behaviors, you know, destruction of things in your house, things getting broken. My son loved to pick holes in the walls, and my poor husband would have to patch and then repatch and then repaint again, you know. We had several televisions that got broken, several windows that got broken over the years. One time the police were at my house because I had to call them because of behavior. And one of the police walked in and watched my husband run over to the window and deliberately pound on it until it shattered and he got cut, you know. Um, so, as I've seen other parents online say, be prepared to be replacing stuff a lot. It is not unusual. Another thing, you know, you're not alone in this. It's very, very common, property destruction. So, you're not failing. Your child isn't failing either. It's just, it's extremely common. Okay, I'm kind of rambling here, but I just want to pop in with this today. I hope it helps somebody. If you ever have a question that I don't know if I can answer it, but I can certainly try. Feel free to leave a comment. I can address something in another video maybe, because I am on the end of the full-time parenting journey. So hopefully I've got some experiences that might help you guys, anybody who happens to watch this. I still look for advice from people further down the line than me. So, okay, well, that's it for today. Have a good day, and we'll see you again soon. Hang in there. Your child is worth everything, and so are you.